down and you attack the master teacher because you thought you heard something that you didn't hear. That's the first violation. You don't come in. First of all, you come in and you act like you come in peace, but you don't. You got an agenda.
Moors are men upright, independent and fearless. Dogmatized, dirty Moors, tongues cut out, left earless, cause they never listen. Dirty Moors, keep up your slander. Wu-Tang torture in your ass, hot hangers. Kidnap a dirty Moor, torture him like Saw. 3D, 0 for 5 or 1 through 4. Or get it like 5 or 6 with a fez on jigsaw. Leather face in a turban, rip dirty Moors lips off. Disrespecting the mother Ras Mariah Bay. Wrap him up like double crochet, the barbed wire way. Throw him off a bridge or feed him to the piranhas. Yellow journalists Moors spread nothing but propaganda. Idi Amin Bay, treat the temple like Uganda. Dirty Moors like foreigners, crush the dust like ganja. Not worthy of being Moors, we call them dirty Nehesus. Solomon Seal spell command 72 demons to get you.
This is what the temple guys actually said. That Canaanland is not a part of North America. Canaanland is bigger. Yo, it's ignorant, man. I mean, come on, you're talking about the same land mass. Canaanland is actually bigger than the land mass they know is the corporate United States. Almost twice as big. And if they had any sense, they could just go to Google and they can type in North America and find out North America goes all the way up to Greenland. But they're ignorant. They don't want to do that. They just dealing off emotion.
You might hear hoarse voices, see frog faces, and who's the feet. Demons we run with, spit fire with gold wolf teeth. Keep playing, forget back teeth. New Moors are an issue, get Ginsu. Maybe a dream visit from Ishnu, a nightmare to never end and always continue. Cold as an igloo, dealing with my trust issues through vigilance. Active Moors are militants, SPLC dirty Moors, call that sovereign citizen. Lions reviews, they notice all the MCQs. Benz need gas and fixing, but not enough dues. Pigpen Bays sell you out for peanuts, claiming that we nuts for teaching birthright street level, keeping it beat nuts.
To any members of the NFTA that's out there listening to what I'm saying, please get it through your head. I don't have a problem with the NFTA. I got issues with
the cases Lamar, stay surrounded by feathers. Dirty's guilty of fraud and dually scrutinize their ledgers. Getting proclamations from Morocco, disrespect us. Corporate city only recognize people's court jesters. Hand in their back, Moorish puppets and minions. Never get the human rights recognition like Moors near Virginia. Commonwealth, for active Moors knowledge the Commonwealth. Dirty's claim more, but really on the straw man help. Authenticating a birth certificate, that's not significant. Civil little more two status syndicates in more face. Watch them two more status Indians claiming Turtle Island are lying so intricate.
Long days and long nights. But this message needed to be heard.
Okay, 666, but I'm here with the sevens. I don't even care if I make it into heaven. I'm up all night trying to make it with my veterans. Up all night hearing whispers from the devil. I can't lie, I fucking love it. This world's cold, someone open up and fucking love it. Man, this world needs love, I fucking love it. Fuck it, it's too much shit that people fucking up with. Fuck it, let it burn, burn, baby burn. And maybe they'll learn, maybe learn. Please, if they fake, please can come out my funeral. It took too long to listen, I don't want nothing to do with them.
Yeah, still locked up. All them plea deals, made under threat, arrest, coercion, sleep deprivation. Crazy. So I mean, denying doc is medicine. Crazy, you know. Crazy. Oh, you never heard? Yeah. Dr. York L. They know what they did. They know fair trials with yellow journalism, reporting false info, destroyed the land, destroyed all the pyramids. You know what they did? Arresting Doc at the shopping mall, like he got so much arms that he's dangerous. Crazy. So crazy. You don't even know. Y'all don't even study. Y'all got Nuwapian Moors Constitution. How y'all let them get locked up, yo? How y'all let it happen? It's all good. It's really all good. It's all good. Yeah, Sadat L put me on MC and MAC on the Euro last names, Moorish family tree. Questioning Muslims and Christian belief systems. Battling county zone and bylaw fiction. Some say planet risk, I call him Yamasee Chief Black Eagle. Come to teach Nubian people. Nuwapians are Moorish because ancient Egypt is stagnant. They so sick he brought them holy tablets. Forgot they true Alitos following Imam Isa. Signing with no rights reserved on corporate visas. Trump up charges by the city of Georgia. Hearing the torture, he got what give you nausea and make you question the trial, judge, and jury. Deliberating, drinking liquor from the state's brewery. Sounds like a conspiracy from what I've seen. Nuwapians should sue the state under Title 18 instead of marching and picketing like niggas they not. Nuwapians came to the temple and taking shots at Chuali. Almost trying to diss the program but silent when I asked to see their dark Moorish holy program. Another political prisoner, kidnapped for opening the minds of the listener. And he was invited for fraud, so he told y'all, wake up, Master L. Another political prisoner, kidnapped for opening the minds of the listener. And he knew I get called out for fraud, so he told y'all, wear your mask of God. 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 Color of office and authority in making. Made dogs sleep on ice blocks and force their bacon to force sleepless nights before the trial date. Trump up charges of child molesting and rape. Witnesses said his son made him make up the lies in conspiracy with CIA and FBI. AEO audios, the black book kept me high in spirits. Master teacher's voice, I still hear it. Color of office and authority in making. Made dogs sleep on ice blocks, force their bacon to force sleepless nights before the trial date. Trump up charges of child molesting and rape. Witnesses said his son made him make up the lies in conspiracy with CIA and FBI. AEO audio, the black book kept me high in spirits. Master teacher's voice, I still hear it. Sadat L, another political prisoner, kidnapped for opening the mind.
You have to unarm the next one too. Did you unarm the other one? Good. Stand off, take 10 paces when doing handoffs in the open, no bare faces. Mere traces, rare places. I know about a status, I mean status. What's the stasis? We out stratus. Mr. Universe, code name Tony Atlas. I was gifted with this. Why you talking about practice? Really? You talking about practice? You a thespian, acting like an actress. You a lesbian, type back on the mattress. Christian, Protestant, Anglican, Baptist, Pentecostal, Lutheran, all Catholic. Angels have returned, truth is in. Stop the slackers, they do anything and everything to get you off your axis. A time to move forward, a time to wait, a time to love, a time to hate. A time to hug, a time to refrain from embrace, a time to smile, time for seriousness on the face, a time to be on point, a time to make mistakes, a time to be small, a time to be great. It's racing for the swift foot, who could endure with this paradigm shift. I'm glad to be a more strong devour, weak, rich, prey on the floor. If you find us, but to seek the DNA, it's all stored. It's racing for the swift foot, who could endure with this paradigm shift. I'm glad to be a more strong devour, weak, rich, prey on the floor. If you find us, but to seek the DNA, it's all stored. Time to preserve life, a time to kill, a time to act right, a time to chill, a time to do what's right. Allah's will, a time to make lower self, take you on some drills, a time to reach heights, a time for depths, times when you speak, times quiet is kept, a time to stay awake, actually we never slept, time to get resuscitated, time for losing your breath, A time to pass, time to resurrect. Sun sets, then it rises. I know it sounds complex, still no surprises. Try grasp the concepts. Open your eyelids, change your literature to change your mind. That's what I did. You on the fence? Undecided? Take time, don't worry, she provided. It's delicate when ideologies colliding. This racing for the swift, but who could endure with this paradigm shift? I'm glad to be your Moor. Strong devour weak, rich prey on the poor. If you find it's cause you're seeking DNA, it's all stored.
Islam Moors. Peace and love. You know where you're at already. You already know where you're at. You already know. But before we start up, we just have one more for you. Before we start up, we have one more for you. We have one more for you. This is a good one. This is going to be a good one.
Well, for me, after being in prison and just seeing the scheme behind religion per se, because you find that there's a lot of people, you know, for example, there's guys who become Muslim in prison just for safety reasons. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like people have their ulterior motives as far as just trying to, you know, reach a higher heights. You know, most people anyways, you know, and then you have people who are just, you know, going through the motions. But so when I got out of prison, a good friend of mine, Yasun, asked me to come to a class. He sent me a text, I remember. It was shortly after I got out, and he said, you should come to this class. And I was like, sure. Went through, got put on to the science, and ever since then, it's been on. And it's crazy because there are people who I know while I was in prison, dude. Like after I came out, I went to, like, naturally, after I got into some information, some of the people that I know, you know, who have never really been locked up, and I've known them for years, and I'm like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. And one of them actually told me, yeah, you know, he knew about it. He actually went to one class out in, I think, Alton Towers in 2007. 2007, I was still in the pen, serving a life sentence, and, you know, life sentence. But I was just flabbergasted, you know, like you just got you went to class and never really gravitated towards it. I don't know. But I guess when you look at it, school in general, people are in school just to get what they need and get out. You know what I mean? Like just regular institutionalized school. So I guess it's no different here, where it's like, if you're not passionate about it, you're not passionate about it. You know, but as soon as I got into the science, it was a no-brainer for me.
How was I introduced to the science? I was at a club one night, and it was out, me and my cousin, and when the club let out, there was a food truck outside, and we went outside and we conversating with another couple guys that worked at a different club, and the guy that was running the food truck, you know, we started talking about certain things, and he overheard us. So the five of us ended up gathering in front of his food truck. This was maybe about 3 a.m. And we stayed there until about 5:30. And we talked about a whole multitude of different things. You know, Rex 84, King Alpha Plan, just a whole bunch of stuff. AFRICOM and the Federal Reserve. So this guy mentions to me, he said, listen, he said, I got somebody you should meet. He said, my neighbor, his name is Taj Tariq Bey. And initially, you know, I hadn't heard of Taj Tariq Bey or any other. I had heard the title Bey before, just not really, I wasn't really informed on what it was or anything about it. So with him telling me I should meet this guy, I did some research, and I found out, okay, this dude Ty Street Bay is here in Philly, and he does classes. So I went down to Black and Nobel, which is a bookstore where they did the classes, and I actually missed that one. I went down maybe a Monday or Tuesday. Class was that Saturday, and the next one was going to be at a different location. So I went to that class, and when I got there, I was fortunate enough to meet Ty Street Bay, Abdullah Iltali Mosi Bay, and Raz Mariah V. Bay from RV Bay Publications, and her son, Ms. Raim Alifel. And that class was actually my introduction into Moorish science.
How was I introduced to the science? That's a good question. It's kind of hard to pin it down, but at one point, I think I was seeking again. I knew something wasn't right? I knew in terms of nationality and things like that, it wasn't right. And things started to be presented to me. So I think going to Afrofest, there were different people that were out there. And that's when I got in touch with Cujo and, the temple here in Canaanland. So I started going to class from there. Yeah, so it was just from going to Afrofest and encountering the people there and liking what they had to say and wanting to find out more.
How was I introduced to the science? Some brothers out here by the name of One Love, they brought a brother by the name of Umar Shabazz out here, and he wrote a book called We Are the Washita. And when I saw that lecture, it confirmed to me that I knew that something was up with regard to calling myself black and all these things. From there, we got into watching things by Brother Aline El-Bey. He was probably the second influence that we had. We did a lecture with him here. He drove here from North Carolina, or traveled here from North Carolina, using his Moorish tags and all that. He had his own plates when he came up here. Then we figured that, I figured that it's time to go deeper into this. What's the foundation of this? Found out about Noble Drew Ali through MySpace. Went to Chicago to visit a Moorish science temple out there. And the Moors there put us on to everything with regard to what Noble Drew Ali brought and what the Moorish Divine and National Movement and the Moorish Science Temple is about. And ever since that, we're still here doing what it is we do, making sure our people know the truth about their nationality and birthright.
And we'll just pause right there. So you can go check 27th Letters podcast on YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe and all that other stuff. And that's where it's at. The I Am Not Black documentary. Brother Lanre Obey doing what he does. And you haven't seen anything yet.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's definitely a good one. Yeah, it's definitely a good one. It sets a tone. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good reference points in it. It's a good one. I don't know what's going on upstairs or whatever.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, that's not me making that noise.
I don't know who they're burying upstairs, but some
they're burying them.
I don't know what the hell's going on up there. So we had to deal with this situation with the Aboriginal Indigenous, and they're not Moors, and the usual nonsense. We know that they're Moors. All right, we know. we know that they are Moors. We know this. Not because of us, not because we're trying to pull something or prove something or whatever. That's just what it is.
Yep.
It's nothing to debate. It's nothing to debate. The only reason that you would debate is because you're in denial. That's why. You're in such denial that you can't even accept the fact that you're Moors. But you'll accept the fact that you're everything else? You're everything else except the traitors, the Moors. Right? Now again, we are coming from the perspective that Noble Drew Ali, who is our prophet, he was quote unquote Cherokee Indian. He was that. So if he was Cherokee Indian and he said he's Moorish American, if he said he's Moorish American, then nobody that's Aboriginal and Indigenous or whatever should have a problem with saying that they're Moors. Because a Cherokee Indian said he's a Moorish American. So who are you? Who the hell are you? In 2000, you just came here yesterday. Just came here yesterday. Brother Yusuf, how far do you travel from to go to the classes in Harlem?
It's 2 hours. It would take me 2 hours to get to class in near Harlem.
Okay.
An hour and a half, 2 hours.
All right. So an hour and a half, 2 hours to go to class to get this info. No one can give me an excuse as to why they're not on it. You know what I mean? There's certain ones who are sellouts. That's why they don't want to be on this. And then there's ones who are just innocent bystanders. And you know what I mean? I can't really hate on you because you don't know better. So you might get the pass, but know that I'm looking at you funny every time just because you're not real with more. Right? And that's just what it is. Because I'm not here for popularity or some fame or something like that. All this is about is Noble Drew Ali and his message getting out to people. That's all this is about. Because you're parading around with people today at Savior's Day or whatever, when this is what they should be giving honor to. That we're Moors. Not that we're just going to come out here and talk some BS for 3 hours. How about teach them the truth about their nationality and their birthrights? How about use Savior's Day for that? And tell all these people that they're Moors. And stop playing the game. Islam, bro, Yusuf.
Islam.
If you got anything to add right now.
just real quick, because I just I looked at the picture. If I'm right, if you look at the picture to the right of the screen, the black and white one, or the prophet,
Yeah.
you see the two palm trees in the left.
Mm-hmm.
I read in the book, I forgot what book, but before the architecture of the pillars, the two palm trees next to each other were the original pillars. So I was like, man, like once again, the prophet's the man again.
Yeah.
He's not going to just do that for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Who knows what else is in that picture?
Right. The you know, because the symbology alone, the chair, everything. But like you say, they don't want to give honors to the man right here. They rather play games and give honors to everything else. Everything else, but this the man right here. And like you said earlier, the prophet came around in the 1800s. That's when he was born. He told you he told you he didn't play that Cherokee Indian stuff. He was Moorish American.
Moorish American. How come he didn't play Cherokee Indian?
When at a time.
Oh, but this boy just put a good one up there. Saviors, they put back up the Moor Science Temple sign. How about that one?
Right.
Bring out all your fezzes. Tell those dudes, bring all their fezzes out. Bring all their nationality paperwork out, cards out, and all that. And now start saying Nation of Islam. Nation of I Self-Law Master. Yeah, let's go. About time. But nah. Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking.
No, they getting federally funded because of that. They keep playing the games. These people getting millions since the 70s. We found documents since the 70s of them getting paid. It's 2020, so-called 2020 now, and they still getting federally funded to keep us where we're at.
Still.
For them to change the sign and put the original sign, the Moorish Science Temple sign, back up, that's suicide.
Yeah.
That's suicide if they did something like that. Because remember, they're the number one on King Alfred plan.
Mm-hmm. Top of the list. How come they're top of the list? How come they're top of the list? They're top of the list because they're supposed to put Moor Science Temple of America there. But if they put that there, that gives up the whole game. So they can't put that. They put Black Muslims. That's going to directly tie you to Nation of Islam, not tie you to some Muslim radical organization or whatever. As soon as you see a Black Muslim, automatically. NOI you're talking about. You're not talking about anything else that says that they're Muslim. Just because Black's on it. And they're top of the list. How are they top of the list if FBI was infiltrating Moor Science Temple of America before them? Ask yourself the question, why is Nation of Islam at the top of the list? Because if they said Moor Science Temple of America is at the top of the list for having infiltrators and sellouts and all that stuff, it's going to let you know that they know about Noble Drew Ali and Moor Science Temple. And that it's not a game. And that you're looking at Jamal's getting FBI investigation like stuff hasn't been under investigation since the 1920s. Where you been? Where you been?
Right.
That you're fascinated, and of course it's some Indian guy or whatever, right? I'm not saying that he's Moors and all that stuff, but FBI is going to be going, attacking, whatevering some Moors, and the Indian guy is riding with the attack, not the defense. How you tell me that they're not the sellouts?
Yep. Oh yeah, look at this too. The now if we look at Brother Jamal being under FBI investigation, but then you got NOI, the same FBI are paying them. They're getting paid by the same FBI. The Moor is under investigation by the same guys who's paying the NOI.
Look at that.
If you want to see the sellout, you can see it right there, clear as day. Clear as day.
Clear as day. Right? Again, which is why they made the top of the list. You know when the big man of the building is gonna have the little boys that work in the church and stuff like that, and then certain stuff happens to the little boys by these grown adults. Same thing that is going on with these people. That's why they're top of the list. They're the little altar boy. Do you understand? These people tried to bury Noble Drew Ali so you do not know who he is.
Yeah, they did.
You really don't get it, huh? You really don't get it. It hasn't really registered in your mind of the importance of Noble Drew Ali, because our people are so mentally enslaved that they don't know anything but Black history. And then that's like an octopus with double the arms or whatever. Right?
Only reason why they're saying something about the prophet now is because Moors got their foot on their neck.
Yep.
Where was the NOI at during the 80s and 90s, especially during the 80s? I say that because that's when I was alive. And my father was going to that stuff. You know what I mean? Like my father was heavy in the NOI. He didn't ever come home and mention nothing about no Noble Drew Ali. Why wasn't this mentioned then?
Okay, and then what happened? And what happened when you talked about it now? Now that you found out?
Oh, but it's a strange thing, you know. Like my father, he's looking at me like he has no idea what was going on. But then, like my uncle, who was high, he was like a higher up in the NOI. He knew all about Noble Drew Ali, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it must be a hierarchy thing, because you always bring it up with Clarence Sack.
Yeah.
You know, he has the Bay title now, but again, the hierarchy, the higher up you are in there, the more you would know. Because he knew about Noble Drew Ali, but he made it. You know, they played a game like Farad or Elijah. He knew him. He didn't go to the school or study from Noble Drew Ali, but they knew each other. And I'm like, no, that's not what happened. He went to the Prophet's school. He was a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Like, I don't want to hear that. He was there.
Him far than anyone else of age that qualifies. Because we know for a fact that they wore fezzes in the 1930s. We know that. And prior to 1930, fezzes was Moorish.
Got the video with his brother exposing it.
Exposing the whole game.
Once that video came out, Farrakhan had to talk about it.
Hold on, we gotta do this one. Islam more.
Islam, bro, what's good?
Yo, everything's good, yo. What's the word?
Yeah, I just want to read something to the people, man. Just building off what you just said about these indigenous people. So first off, Islam to all the Moors. This is Seth of Rabbi.
Islam, Grand Sheikh.
Honest. Islam, brother Yusuf was good.
Islam.
So yeah, I just want to read something to the people right quick. 2016, Delaware Code, Title 29, State Government, Chapter 1, Jurisdiction and Sovereignty, Subsection 106, Lenape Indian, Tribe of Delaware Recognition. It says, number 1, the Lenape Indian Tribe of Delaware, referred to as the tribe in this section, has an unbroken history of hundreds of years of settlement and continued residency in the vicinity of the town of Keswick in Kent County, that's in Delaware. Members of the tribe preserved, displayed, and manifested close cultural ties with one another by conducting themselves in such a social and economic manner so as to identify themselves as being culturally and ethnically distinct. Number 3, the tribe can date their ancestral ties as far back as the early 1700s. Number 4, the tribe was formerly known as, quote unquote, the Moors, and for many decades of the 20th century, state documents, such as driver's licenses, designated the tribe's race with an M. I ain't going to read no further. I think everybody heard correctly.
Wow.
That's Delaware Code, Title 29, State Government, Chapter 1, Subsection 106. Go ahead and read it, so that way nobody don't think I made it up. I'll email it to you, Sheik. That way you can post it on the site for people.
Yeah. Islam more.
Islam.
Man, just a quick slap.
Yeah, I mean, because you know me, Sheik. I can't deal with the back and forth stuff, man. But sometimes you just got to give people a cold hard reality check, man.
Yeah.
They go back and forth with all this nonsense. But the thing is, I didn't write the Delaware title. You didn't write it. Yusuf didn't write it. But it's there.
Oh, that's the white man stuff, though.
Yeah, right. And in flat out say, the tribe was formerly known as the Moors. So there's no doubt about who we are. And there's no doubt about who the quote-unquote Indians are. It's only doubt in people's mind. And just like you said, man, it's just because they on some nonsense. That's all.
Straight.
Yeah, that's it, man. I'm going to sit back and continue to enjoy listening, man.
Islam more. Give thanks.
Give thanks.
Peace and love, yourself. Peace and love to everybody else on the line.
Islam.
Yep.
So Lenape is a misnomer.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. And again,
that goes.
No, go ahead, Moore.
That goes back to the term Moor was substituted for the term Indian in 1621.
Oh, you're right there. You're right on it. I yield the floor. I yield the floor. You can go right ahead.
Yeah, see that?
There you go.
Okay. Wait a minute. But it's okay because we're gonna go to the all right, in front on the forehead, describing the Moorish headdress.
Yeah.
All right. In front of the forehead, it has a beak of pure gold. The term Moorish, as here applied, can scarcely be regarded as a deceptive one inasmuch as Montezuma, the king of Tezcatlipocan in Mexico, is subsequently designated as a Moorish king in the same inventory of 1596. Montezuma, known as the Moorish king. It is interesting to note the gradual changes that occur in the wording of the subsequent periodical official registration of this Moorish hat. In 1613, its description was faithfully reproduced. In 1621, the word Indian was substituted for Moorish.
One more.
In 1621, the word Indian was substituted for Moorish.
And there can't be any more that you want after that. There can't be any more that you want after that. After the Delaware codes, and then after this, there can't be any more that you want. It has to be accepted. Because people are going to go study. These stuff is just inspire people to study. Because more study. If this isn't going on right now, more will be doing something. Now again, let's go down a little further. The bands are studded with crescents or horseshoes, small circular plates, and other thin gold pieces. The old inventory designates this object as an Indian hat. The old inventory designates this object. So when you say you're Indian and Aboriginal and all the BS, what are you saying? You're saying you're an object. A hat. A hat could be an Indian, not a human being. Of course a hat could be an Indian, because Indian describes, it's an adjective. Of course a hat could be an Indian. But the word Indian was substituted for Moorish. So it's really a Moorish hat. So if it's a Moorish hat and the Moorish king, and then the Moorish headdress, what do you mean Aboriginal Indigenous people are not Moors? How?
Go back to Africa. Like, come on, man.
How? The facts are there for those who want it. If you don't want it, then, take what you get.
But like I told you earlier, Grand Sheik, when you back them in the corner, they start that, oh, we're above these terms. None of these terms can be used to describe us. And I'm like, come on, man. You all of you fill out all this paperwork and check off black. Check off whatever. No reservations of rights, nothing. But none it doesn't matter. But when you fill out application for whatever, you never write that on there. Oh, none of this matters. You never write that on there. But when the Moors show you factually how we're not some so-called Indians, it doesn't matter what we call ourselves. Soon as Moors do it. But these people go around all day filling out paperwork and never say it doesn't matter what we call ourselves. They checking off colorable boxes. They checking them right off too. But quick to tell Moors, it doesn't matter what we call ourselves. But you're up here on a whole panel of Indians. Like you guys are up here saying you're Indians. And then when Moors come on there, show you all the facts, it doesn't matter what we call ourselves. So why are you up here having a show about Indians?
Yep, because it doesn't matter what they call themselves.
And that's the same thing the so-called black guys were saying. Sarnetta and them, Reggie and them, saying the same thing. So we trapped them with that
exact same
black.
thing.
Yep.
And then what is it? It's because everything right now is retrograde. The Moors are where there's nowhere for us to go but be Moors. After you do that, everything else is going to fall into place. It's just automatic. Ask them more. They'll tell you. Right? Save their family because they started saying that they're a Moor. That if they kept going on the black, they would have lost their family.
I can back that. Well,
everything is retrograde right now. Retrograde sneakers, retrograde clothes, retrograde. Everything's coming back in again.
Everything.
Which lets you know that there's an actual time loop that people are caught in. The consumerism is a state of existence. That's a place where people go. Not knowing that they're actually the consumed. They're actually the fuel and the oil making the stuff run. And they don't care if they get the oil by grinding you up. They're going to get their oil.
Yeah.
We're saying remove yourself from the machine. Because you already have every single example of an Indian whatever that the later generation Indians are complaining about, because they're claiming to not have a status. They're claiming some residential school, whatever. When that still puts you in the subordinate position, yeah, they did whatever. But if you're taking that position, then what they did to you is justified. Because you're claiming the position of the serf. When Moorish is Mexican, people know what that is there. Crazy one. Can't remember who it was. But one of these Moors that just go places. They were in Cuba or something, some Spanish-speaking place. They went to one of those little Mexican market. It's a Mexican market. And the Mexican market, they have Moroccan candles there. It's like, why do you have Moroccan candles here? Why do you have all these South American name candles, and then you have Moroccan candles? Right, the term was really Moorish. It's not all the other BS. Now again, this is the Karankawa Indians, the coast people of Texas. Albert Samuel Gatshit. Edward Samuel Gatshit. The word Indian substituted for Moorish. There was an email sent, so we'll just throw this one out there. Throw this one out there as a question. Couple of them with regard to situations that you hear about with Moors. So you're researching Moors and something comes up that sounds crazy. That might make you have second thoughts about, our Moor. So one example we use is everybody's situation is their own. First thing, what somebody else does as a Moor doesn't really have anything to do with you like that, because it's their birthright. Now, we look at it from the perspective that people are gonna be sincere with this and do what should be done, because Allah guides it, not some man that you could give him a deep move and get away from whatever judgment they're sending at you. Allah guides this. So you might not want to play around, but if you play around, then that's on you, because it's your birthright. It's your birthright. You know what I mean? So if you hear a situation and you don't know really, you know what I mean, because you're not there, then probably want to focus on studying and mind your business. Right? Again, unless you're somebody who has been studying, who really knows their self, who the questions are limited. Like if you have 20 questions, find about more, and then you have 20 questions, you probably need to go study, because that's a lot of questions. You give some of these Moors 20 questions, you have volumes of books.
Yep.
You give these Moors 20 questions, every book will be a volume, because question is going to be answered to some extent that you wish you never asked them questions. And don't look at situations. That's people's own personal whatever. Unless they told you, hey man, my situation, this is what's going down, then don't really look at it like that. You know what I mean? Just, if it's a situation you saw from its inception, but you just hear something. Oh no, those are those Moors because, a sister got whatever because, those Moors say this, and then look what they did to her. In what situations? Fact check, go study. 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 There's a lot more. You have anything to add?
You had brought up the word question. Now, I don't want to mess up the brother's title. Remember the Moor who, when he got kidnapped, before he got kidnapped, he wasn't saying he was a Moor, but when he got kidnapped, the brother Mariano Bay reached out to him, wrote him a letter while he was in there, and he got back.
Who's that? Natural Tutti? Yeah,
Natural Tutti, right. Okay. I was watching him, and he had brought up the word question, because the guy who's asking if 20 questions or whatnot, the the root word of question is quest. And the definition of quest is a journey. So if you asking questions, like the Grand Sheik said, Morris is going to give you books because we're going to take you on a journey for each question. You're going to go on a whole new warp path because Morris are studying. We're studying. And the having the 20 questions, it reminds me too, like when I first started listening to Blog Talk Radio years ago, and the mothers would go in saying like, you know, the favorite line then was, I can tell where you're at by the questions you're asking.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, and me, because me, I love to analyze. I love to sit in the corner and watch. Like I love doing that. And me watching the mothers say that for years, like in the beginning, I had no idea what they was talking about. And it made me like keep studying harder and harder because I didn't want to ask crazy questions or a question that was colored or something like that. So I kept studying because you didn't want to call in the Blog Talk Radio and ask something crazy and then the mothers go in on you because you're not studying. So that kept me studying. It kept me studying. And then I finally realized what the mothers were saying by when people would ask me questions, because they're genuinely trying to ask a question, but because they haven't been studying, they don't even know that their question that they're asking is wrong. And when I say wrong, is you're thinking wrong. Your thinking is wrong. Your wording is wrong. You know, and it's causing you to, because and another thing, because remember I told you, Grand Sheik, a couple of days ago in another class, when I first came into information, when I heard that Moors were free white persons, I went and Googled black people were really white people. Like that's what I'm saying. Where our mind was at in the beginning, because I'm still thinking Moors are black people, but when you go research, you're not gonna. It's gonna be hard to find black people are really white. You're not gonna find that at all because you're still thinking Moors are black people. Moors aren't black. Moors aren't black. But I couldn't get that in my head. So when I was researching stuff, I couldn't find black people are really white people because the way I was thinking was wrong. I'm thinking colored. I'm still asking questions in a colorful mindset. But studying is the only way to get you to be even to, because then you start questioning yourself. You know how to question yourself. You won't go outside of yourself for the answer because you've been studying. You know where it's going, the time stamps, where in history what was going on then, and you can put all that together. But only way you're going to get to that is by studying. You have to study. You have to, because you have to get clear of all the concepts. Remember, we're coming from slavery mentality, European thought process. And with that process, we have caused numerous of damages. And now we ask questions thinking we're genuinely asking a question. And then we get frustrated because a Moor answer your question, but it's not answered the way you thought it should be answered. Because your question was wrong the way you asked your question was wrong. And I keep saying that because the way our mind is working. The way the mind is so powerful, man, because the way you're thinking can make your question be wrong.
Yeah.
So now you're not even getting these Moors, man. Every time you ask them a question, they give you all of these. Yeah, because if you were studying, you wouldn't even ask the question.
Right.
You wouldn't even ask the question. You'd be studying. The answer is gonna come. It always does. So one day, you know how many times, and I know Moore is on here on the chat, the Grand Sheik can tell you, You know how many times you can be asking yourself a question? Open up a book at CVS and the answer's right there. Have nothing to do with nothing. You've been asking this question, and then out of nowhere, out of all the places, you just opening, you're looking at the answers right there. I know Moorish can give you numerous examples of that. Just opening the. I remember the Grand Sheik when he found in Dr. Ben's book that the word Hebrew wasn't even used in ancient history.
Mm-hmm.
You just open up the book to that. While we were doing class on the Hebrews, you just went directly to the page and started reading it. That's what I'll be saying. Like when you're in that studying hard, the answers is going to come to you. Grand Sheik did that live in class.
Yeah. So it will just come to you. There's a lot more. Hold on. Which one? The one with because the one I have right now is the. All right. Okay. I have the one with the hole in the woman.
You said the one with the guy holding the woman?
Yeah.
Can you put it on the screen so the people can see it?
Yeah, it's on the screen right now.
All right. So who that is called Chief or King Kukulkan. Kulkulkan. From Chichen Itza, Mexico. Chichen Itza is CHICHEN. I'm sorry, CHICHENITZA. So they'll tell you that he was Mayan. But you see what he's doing. He's on a pyramid and he's sitting there holding a woman that's asleep.
Yeah.
Right now, Chief Kukulkan is very, very, very old. You can go ahead and Google him and you can do your research and find out how old, because he's much older than the prophet is. The same image that you see of the prophet, uplifting fallen humanity. They'll try to tell you that that's a sacrifice, but there ain't no coincidence. That's the same way the prophet is holding a woman and she's asleep. Because for a long time, we've been trying to uplift fallen humanity. Now, for anyone who says, oh, well, he was Mayan, or he was Aztec, or he was Mexican, you can look at those other images that I showed you. If you look at the image from the top of the wall, where it's kind of blue, you'll see Asiatics to the left. And you'll see that they're fighting. And then if you look at the other picture, you'll see conquistadors. You can tell they're conquistadors by their armor and their helmets. And the conquistadors were who? They were Spaniards. They came from Spain. They came to take the land. They went down into Mexico looking for gold. And they went to destroy and ruin everything they could. And we Moors, Mayans, or however they want to call them, we know ourselves as Moors. We fought and fought and fought. The problem was we didn't have guns and ammunition like they did. We were fighting with bow and arrows, spears, and things like that. Now, if you look at the whole picture, you can see the whole picture of the Moors fighting the conquistadors. And if anybody got any questions about who that is on the wall, you can look at the little figurines that I took pictures of. I know one of the pictures was a little blurry. I may have been moving when I took it.
No, I only got the prophet one. I didn't get the other one.
You didn't get the other one yet?
No.
All right, I'll keep explaining them. When you get them, then you can throw them out, because I definitely emailed them. So what I sent you was some small masks. So I sent you two of them that are very clear, two small masks, Asiatic in nature. You can look at the noses, you can look at the lips, you can look at the eyes, you can look at the dark brown complexion. And then you'll see there's a wall with a whole host of these masks hanging on the wall for sale down in Mexico. You won't see any what they call fair skin, which we just know as a lighter hue. You won't see any of those figurines or statues on that wall. And this is not in Cancun, Mexico. This is almost 3 hours away from Cancun, in the middle of nowhere in Mexico. And they're showing you who you are, bro. They're letting you know. They're letting the people know, in the world know who we are and where we were. I know we're not talking a resort. We're not talking a resort area like Cancun or Playa del Carmen or something like that. No, we're talking way deep into Mexico, at a store on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, with those types of images and those types of figurines for people to pick up and buy. Moors, bro. They can call you if the family was called Mayan, if the family was called Aztec, if the family was called Inca. I'm not going to sit here and argue and debate that. I know who we are, and they know who we are. There's little stuff like that. This is why we travel. This is why we go to these places, so we can see this stuff, touch it, and then show it to the people, bring it back to the people. So we don't have to keep wondering and guessing. No, we go to these places and we see this stuff. It's a clear image on the wall. Conquistadors fighting Moors. Clear. Very clear. And the mask even make it even clearer. But that picture that you have right there, that I sent you, that's no different than a prophet sitting there holding a woman while she's asleep.
Right.
We've been uplifting fallen humanity for a very long time.
Yeah, with the
and
one
we gotta continue.
With the foot on the solid rock of salvation and everything, the whole thing, yo.
Come on, man.
Like
Come on, man. It's right there.
Come on, yo.
It's right there.
You can't tell me he's not Aboriginal Indigenous if he's not copying somebody from before him doing the exact same thing.
Come on,
even
man.
the step.
Thousands of years before him. From thousands of years before him.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So I I'm just listening, man, and then what? Man, I can hate you.
Islam, more give
so
thanks.
I got to share, man. I'm gonna send an email again with those other pictures.
Yeah, hold on, let me just check again and see. Yeah, no, nothing came through. Just the Lenny Lenape and the prophet one.
All right, I just sent it again because I want the people to see those images, man. Because if they haven't had the opportunity to get down to Mexico, man, then there it is, man. I got a ton of these pictures.
Yeah.
And a ton of these things, man. Yeah, and you listen, man. You know me. I'm always on the road somewhere to see something, man. I'm gonna keep bringing it to the people. Every little bit I get.
Islam.
Every little bit I get.
That's a goosebump one right there, Grand Chief.
That was
I straight got goosebumps. As soon as I seen it, I said, "What's that? How is they doing that?" Because as soon as I saw this, you see how even with the 1 foot in and the 1 foot out, it's the same picture.
Yeah, I know. Like you could see the picture. It's crazy.
Like he didn't have to do the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like that was too much. That's too much.
Holding the mother was one thing, but more. I've been refreshing the page. It ain't doing this thing. I don't know what's going on.
How do you spell the title again? How do you spell the brother's title?
Kulkan, Kulkan.
Okay.
Because and again, Chichenita,
Hold on,
CHICHNITZA.
These ain't nothing, why they take so long. But yeah, all right, we're good to go. Hold on.
I got another brother sending me some pictures of some brothers on the wall. I'm waiting for him to tell me where they're from, and then I'll email you to them. But these brothers are definitely Asiatic in nature, man. I'm looking at their noses.
All right, I'm about to pull up.
The phenotype.
Yeah. I'm about to pull up the conquistadors right now. With the boat or whatever.
Cool. A brother just sent me some other pictures from the Yucatan. I'm going to send them to you right quick.
All right. But we could do with these ones right now. I think the ones that you were talking about before.
Hey, Joe, you got them up?
Yeah, hold on. I'm pulling up the one with the conquistadors and the boats and all that.
Right. So
the blue one, yeah.
Right. So now when we look at that picture, if I hope they can see it, because you see the conquistadors already on horses, right? And you see them in battle mode. You see they got on their armor, you see they got on their helmets. And then you see the ships. And you see the moon up there, just they're making it clear that they sailed over here. You know what I'm saying? Like a picture, it's 1,000 words in the pictures, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You look at that picture and you can clearly see the ships, you can see the stars, you can see the moon, you can see the planets up there, all in that corner.
Yeah.
And then you go over to the other picture of the Moors over there fighting them. We sitting there and we got shields and we got spears. And then you look to the left, you see a crest right there. And then you look further to the left and you see what? A snake's head. If you go all through the Yucatan, you see snakeheads all over Mexico.
That's right.
We know what that snake represents. We know that snake represents two things. It represents that Kundalini energy going up your spine from your sacral vertebrae. And we also know that that snake represents wisdom.
Which picture you talking about right now?
That's the picture with the Moors throwing spears and holding shields.
Oh, all right. I'm on it now. Okay. I'm on it now. Okay.
You got that one?
Yeah.
Right. And then if you look, and then I sent one where there's the whole picture where you can see the Moors fighting the conquistadors.
Right.
And to the left of the Moors, you see a crest and you see a snake's head.
Yeah.
And to the right, you see the ships and you see the moonlight from them sailing over here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's a battle right there. That's a battle right there for Mexico.
Yeah.
And you can clearly see who it is. It's Moors versus conquistadors. Right. And then if you, I don't know if you got the image of those masks yet.
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at those two masks, you can clearly see. You see they look like chocolate. They look like they made them out of chocolate. You see the noses, you see the lips, you see the eyes, you see the phenotype, and you see the complexion. And then I sent you a different picture of probably 50 to 100 of them just hanging on the wall. You know what I'm saying? This type of stuff is not done by accident. That's way down in the middle of Mexico, bro.
You would think that's in the continent over there.
What's that you said?
You would think that was in the continent over there. You wouldn't even think that was here.
Nah, man, that's right there in North America, man. What they call Mexico. That's right there. That's your people. That's your ancestors right there. And they keep on beating us in the head with all this nonsense, man. And when they say go back to Africa, don't argue with them, man. We're in Northwest Africa. You know what I'm saying? We got to be totally aware of where we are. Let them sit there and rot in their own ignorance. But those things, that ain't thing, man. I took those way down in Mexico, bro. You couldn't find that place if you tried.
These look like the original hieroglyphs.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Like they didn't get to paint over these.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, man. Listen, man. It's the thing, man. For everybody out there listening, man, if you can do some traveling, do some traveling. Go see some stuff. Don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna always tell you what is and what ain't. Go see this stuff for yourself, man. Go touch this stuff. Go touch this stuff. The brother Toma down in North Carolina sent me some stuff. He said he's listening, so I'm gonna forward it to you, man, so you can post it.
Oh, Islam.
Some more Morrison down in the Yucatan, down in Mexico, wearing turbans and feathers. Everybody will see the paintings once you get them. And this stuff that he sent me was painted on the walls. So Islam, brother Toma, one love, good brother.
So this is the one with the. All right, this is the one with the paintings. You're watching it?
No, I don't got it on. If I put it back on, it may echoes and shit.
Okay, yeah. So I'm showing the picture of them. I guess the paintings.
Which one? You talking about the pictures that the brother Toma sent, or what I sent?
What you sent? And one of them looks like inside. One of them looks like inside a temple or something.
No, that's a store. That's a store.
Now, I think this is the ones that the guy from North Carolina sent.
Oh, yeah. If it looks like inside a temple, then that's the one Toma sent. So it's blue on the bottom?
Yeah, with blue on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. The brother Toma sent that. That's his work.
Yo, don't those look like white turbans at the people at the bottom?
Yeah.
Now you can clearly see what it is, man. And just like Sheik said earlier, anybody who's saying otherwise is just in denial, man. Like, how crazy is that to deny your ancestry, man? How crazy is that?
That's crazy. And would from your perspective, would Delaware Code be all you need to show that we're Moors and indigenous?
Mm-hmm. How can they argue with it? I didn't write it.
He got the cape on. He got the cape on with the white turban, with the turban tied around the turban. Come on, man. I don't want to hear that, man. That's some more, bro. You can see the cape.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Yeah, like you said, anybody who got anything to say contrary to what we're saying, man, they just in denial. That's all.
Yeah.
You know what the prophet said? Leave them where they at.
Straight denial. And then
good, how are you?
Oh yeah, with the questions. Back to the questions.
Yeah, can I see the one with the one that the prophet had reenacted one more time?
Yeah, this one's crazy. Yeah, Senra, I'm gonna
that's crazy right there, man.
Yo,
hang up
so I can go back and listen.
Yeah, all right.
My fault, man. I just walked in the house.
Oh, it's all good.
I apologize.
No worries, man. Islam. Yeah, that's it's a heavy one. This one is almost too heavy. It's almost too much, you know. It's almost too much. Because now you know that not only was he in Egypt over there, but he was in Egypt over here too. Because everybody else has documentation of him going over there to go study. Right? He even said that he came back here with the Quran in memory.
Yeah, this is why they had to cover him up, man.
Yo.
This is why they had to cover him up. Like if we would look at this,
I know,
like this,
it's one of two things. It's one of two things. Drew Ali knew about this, so he, you know what I mean, had the picture to show what's going on, or Noble Drew Ali was initiated into this. And this is, the final position of the prophet, the sachem, the divine inspiration for the nations. This is the totem of that. A brother holding a sister with one foot on, 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on. Come on. He has on. Remember now, we just found out. We just studied too. That's a Moorish. That's a Moorish headdress, but they call it a Moorish hat. But that's a Moorish headdress that he has on.
Got the Moorish hat on. Right. He's got the Moorish.
And then I'm looking at it too. Like, okay, Kukan. That's the brother's title. Kukan, Kulkan. Now, how? That's not the prophet reincarnated,
right?
Like if we look at this, you know, we look at because we're in it. I have to look at it, you know, because we look at it weird, and that what it is because we're in the history, we're in the time now. But if this was like an ancient thing, they would look at this like, you know, this is big time. This is some type of historical movement right now, like moment that we're going through, witnessing. But I think like we're downplaying it because we're just who we are now. You know, we're in it. But I think this is huge. This is huge right here.
Yeah. That ties in with the whole thing with where you could say flag is 10,000 years old and all that.
Right. See what I'm saying?
There was a culture. There was a culture. That's just what it is.
And then back again, circle 7, all over again. I mean, the symbols in it is crazy. You know, even the colors going up the steps. Yeah. You got the chakras. That's all the chakras colors right there. They got like the whole thing. The gold cape. I'm looking at the prophet's gold pants and behind him.
Yeah.
The prophet got.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. The prophet's behind them with the thing.
Yeah. It's the same guy.
The same yellow. It's the same color, yo.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, same thing.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that's the same.
It's the same guy. That's what I keep saying. It's because we're in it. If this is a historical moment, we're not looking at it like that because we're just doing regular, you know, we're doing class.
Yeah.
But this is big right here, man. I'm trying to tell you, this is big. Because the picture alone with the prophet, with him carrying the Moabitess up, you know, the same picture that we know about. Mm-hmm. To see that this was this already happened, like this was already like I've never seen this. I've never seen this in nothing. Nothing, because we're in the patriarchal world, so they'll never show any of this.
They're showing this is not allowed.
What we see is the scimitar over the Moabitess head. But now, you know, we see that it's the Moabitess' son carrying her to uplift fallen humanity.
Yeah.
These people nowadays are putting the scimitar above the Moabitess head.
Or putting the Moabite on the ground.
Oh yeah, with the blood coming out and all of that. Like, what are you doing?
Putting the Moabite on the ground.
They had with the blood drippings on the scimitar.
Yeah, yeah.
Who did you kill? I only see you and her. Who did you kill? Could you imagine that? They open up the door. It's only you and her, and there's blood on your knife.
Yeah.
But you're talking about, I was here. I'm trying to help her. Yeah, okay.
I'm uplifting calling humanity. No, you're not. Liar. Yeah, this one is one for the ages.
Yeah, can I get that?
Rob Bay.
I want that.
It's a Sen Rob Bay for sharing his life with the Moors. It's like the Moor said, this is what it is, but you know, just go somewhere. Just go somewhere. I mean, you might still be able to get away and not even have to go too far. You have to go across the Atlantic.
Yo, what else? What else do you want? Could you find that picture real quick? I know it's out there.
Huh?
Could you find the picture? Could you double that? I mean, you probably can play with it some other day, but I'm pretty sure we can get both of those pictures side by side with the prophet doing the same thing.
No, that couldn't work. That'll have to be. You'll have to talk while I do it. You'll have to talk while I create it.
And then to add on real quick, because I remember Seton Ra was bringing up, you know, the term Aztec, you know, because we know ourselves as Moors. It's easily proven. You can just type in who coined the term Aztec, who coined the term Mayan. It popped right up. It doesn't need. It's not even hard. Aztec was coined by Alexander von Humboldt. Like that's a European. They don't even hide it. All you gotta do is type it in. Who coined the term such and such? It did tell you. Some European made it up. These people wasn't called no Aztec, no Mayan, no none of that. None of that. Europeans taking different parts of words, putting them together, saying that this is what you are. And then now you, 100, almost 200 years later from when they did that, you're saying that you're that. Still, again, all of these brands that we've been labeled with, these people are accepting them. And then this Moors.
They know what they're doing. Now let me put this question out there to you. This is one of the questions that was sent that we were reading before. Hold on. While I set up this thing. Okay. With regard to all right, this is the question. Being that the condition of the children is based upon the condition of the mother, does that mean that I have no standing to protect them in law according to the same inalienable rights that I have? You got that one?
Yeah. Okay. All right. You have a right, but nothing's much. You got to understand the power of the Moabites. See, that's why we're showing the picture again. The man's carrying the woman to uplift fallen humanity because she's the one. She's the one. Yeah, we can stand our ground and try because I've done it. But all they're going to do is go behind you and go straight to the mom. they're gonna go right behind your back and go straight to the mom and always ask the mom. The best advice I could give you from my learning experience is try to get the mom on it by whatever means. I don't care what it is. You know, pride gets us in trouble, and pride's nothing but Brother C. Freeman says pride is belief without knowledge, faith without knowledge. So, like, she's the one. Like, we got to put our pride to the side and just, we know our knowledge proves that she's the one that has to be able to save the day. Like, because it's gonna be hard. You can go in there, and what I notice is, because it's all off of fear. This is my experience. Like, when I deal with the school for my son, like, if I deal with him, the people don't want to deal with me. Like, people just don't want to deal with me because he comes in here with all of this energy and stuff like that. But I know for a fact, once my Moabite, she doesn't have to do any of that. What she says is what's going to happen. And once I noticed that, I'm like, dang, man, I got to come in here, yell at these people for an hour and a half. My Moabite, she come in here and say one word and it's done. And I'm like, yo, see, you're the guy. You're the guy. You're the guy. So I found it easier for me to just keep giving her apples so she can just go in there and just be on our, be on our team. So because we're a team, this is, we're Moors. We're not Negro, colored, black. We're not going to do stuff to get our children in some type of jeopardy where they're in danger, And I also know that a lot of people are waking up to the knowledge too. Like, even my son's school teachers and stuff, people are knowing what's going on. So I'm starting to get a lot of leniency from teachers because they know, like, they give you the eye, like, I know what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, I got your son. Don't worry about it. Like, I know he's not supposed to get all that Negro, colored, black stuff for so-called Black History Month. He's not going to get it. He's not.
They're on it like that, letting you know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But again, I had to learn that. Going in there, cussing everybody out for an hour and a half, it works, but on some fearful stuff. But now, like, I know people, because it's small here. I know people who work there. I went to school with the teachers. Like, I know you, know me. It's not, I'm not like that. I'm just trying to get the best from my child. I'm not here to cause no issues. And I noticed that was, cussing everybody out, Shimitar out, is not always the best way, and I had to learn that, because I was just strictly Shimitar. Everybody is against me and all of that. And it wasn't that. A lot of people didn't know. And then, or they did know, but I was coming at it wrong. Like, yeah, just tell us that you know what's up and we'll treat you differently. Just, you don't got to come in here and cuss everybody out and put everybody on blast. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I also know that we need our own schools too. That's the number one thing. Like, I can't keep coming in here trying to make somebody do their job the way I want them to do it. But because I just got this information the last couple of years, but they've been pushing this paradigm for the last couple 100 years. You think we're going to go in there now and change that? We got to have our own schools. But I do again, you do have that right, but sometimes it's just easier. Like, okay, I call it, what I've learned was, how they talk about us in ancient history, they be like, oh, they did a lot of sacrifice. They would sacrifice this, sacrifice that. I learned now the whole thing as us as Moorish men, or the Moabite son, our whole thing is to sacrifice ourselves for them. Like, we have to sacrifice ourselves. That's the pride. We have to put that, we got to sacrifice that pride. We got to sacrifice all of that for the betterment of uplifting fallen humanity. Because if we don't sacrifice ourselves, we're not going to get through this, because our pride, now we want to bicker, go back and forth. Nope. You know, we comprehend what's going on. So now we have to sacrifice, because the people who don't know, for the people who don't know, we have to sacrifice ourselves for them. And that's when I learned that sacrifice, that's why people sacrifice for the betterment of the good. People weren't just sacrificing because, oh, this is going to get me some, no. We doing sacrifices for the betterment of good. Like, I had to realize that, like, I'm sacrificing myself, you know, I walk everywhere, man, you know, like trying to, you know, sacrificing myself because I want the betterment for our people. Like, and I knew that's what it was. I'm like, okay, I gotta sacrifice me. And once I started doing that, everything starts trickling. I like I say, I walk everywhere, but I turn down rides. People pull over. Moor, you want to ride? I'm good. I'm all right. Give thanks. I'm turning down rides every day. People always want to give me a ride. I'm the Moor. But that, and I had to learn, though. It was the changing the way I was thinking, changing my energy. And I realized, I was like, see, it's not about chasing no tickets and all of that. Like, because I can get whatever I want, but because I changed the way I am. And again, it's gonna be, yes, you do have the right, but it's easier if you just get the Moabite on the thing, or you're just gonna keep having to do the scimitar. It was fine. It was fine with me, but after a while, scimitar get dull.
Straight.
And you gotta find a new strategy. And I realized that. I said, I gotta find another strategy. And it's simple now. It changed the way I think. My son, I don't know if anybody even heard of Six Flags. It's a so-called amusement park. My son just got season pass for that stuff, so he can go there for free all year. And it was only him and 2 other students in the classroom that got one, because he did all his homework all year, so they gave him one. And he gets awards all the time. Like how he gets a role model award all the time. Everybody just be like Brother Yusuf. Just be like Yusuf. What's the whole school? He gets all the awards. I told my son this morning, I'm glad we're bringing it up. I told him this morning, I said, you're only 12. You've gotten more awards than I've gotten in my whole life.
For real.
My whole life. I said, your dad's, I'm 34. You're 12. You've gotten more awards than me in my whole life. Like, he's like looking at me like, for real? I'm like, oh, you don't get it. You're the man. I try to tell you. You're the man.
He is the man.
I try to tell him, like, man, I'm never gonna. You're doing better than me at 12.
Yeah. Doing better than a lot of us at 12.
Yeah. Yep.
And then that's what it up. That's the other part of uplifting fallen humanity. That's the other part of, why it is Noble Drew Ali is photocopying.
There he is.
Why he's
one foot in, 1 foot out.
Another Moor That was before him. That was on some type of level. If they're going to make parchment with him on it, or goat skin or whatever like that with him on it, then he must be somebody. He must be somebody. Remember, he's the capstone of the pyramid with her. There's no capstone on that pyramid. Where's the capstone at? He's it. And then there's the logos in the circle too. Because he has he has the 7 feathers. Why does he have the 7 feathers in the circle? Jolly is the man. Jolly was the man.
Yo. Come on, man.
How come he has 7 feathers in the circle? He's not some Rosicrucian and old Jolly was taking stuff from. Jolly was on another plane. He was tapped. He was tapped into something on some other level. This is why you have to watch these people who are playing this thing with you know, stars and stripes, flags and stuff like that, and connecting that to Moors and we're United States of America and all this. We're beyond those little feeble things. You mean this day and time we have so much knowledge, and you're trying to tell me that you still haven't figured out that the Moroccan flag is the Moorish flag and the American flag? You're showing me some banner and talking about, oh yeah, well look at all the pictures of the Moors at the convention holding the banner. I don't think no Drawley brought that. How come they don't go back to the ancient foremothers and forefathers like Noble Drawley did?
Yo, come on, man. Come on. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. The Egyptian adept student. Killing them.
Drawley's killing them. Drawley's killing them. Oh my God.
Yo, if I bung you everything, you go back to sleep is an understatement. That's an understatement.
Understatement, overstatement, inner statement. It's all of them.
This was horrible. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Because you gotta. If you coming into, could you imagine you coming into this information 2 months in and you see this picture? You're not even thinking. You're just looking at the picture. That's interesting. Yeah, when you're 10 years in and you're looking at the picture, you're overwhelmed. You're like, yo, what is this?
Yo.
I'm telling you, man, it's too much, Grand Sheet. It's too much.
It's a good thing you start early. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, that one is like, you know, when you feel that thing go off in your brain, like, hold on a second. Like, not the eureka moment. Like the pop.
Right. Oh man.
Where you have the brain pop?
Yeah,
brain pop when the picture came up. I got the brain pop.
I'm looking at it.
something happened when something hit me when I said, hold on a second, this guy's before Noble Drew Ali.
Right. Yo, come on.
Something went off. I know. We gotta calm down right now. We gotta do some breathing right now.
Yeah, this whole thing, because it says Quran questionnaire for Moorish Americans, right? Now you look at the other picture. Were those astronomical alignments? Are these teaching for another teaching? Like, are we looking at this
there
other picture as another questionnaire? Like, was this another one? Like, because we can't interpret it like we should. But was it? Was it a whole nother questionnaire? Because when we look at the prophet's picture in our time, we get our perspective.
Mm-hmm.
When the Moors at this time saw this picture, they have that perspective. At that time, you know what I'm saying? Like you really got to look at that. Like we see because before Set and Rob brought this picture, we only had the picture of the prophet and that perspective of that.
Yeah.
Now we see that there was another time when that perspective was around, or this picture was around, but how was their thought process at this time? That's one of my questions. And then I'm getting kind of frustrated now because I'm like, well, man, how long have we been trying to uplift fallen humanity?
That wasn't the one. That wasn't the one.
Because I'm looking, I'm like, man, we got to do something now. Like, we got to cut it out.
You gotta cut it out. That's crazy. I had another brain pop.
I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, it was the same thing then. We're not Moors. Like that's how I'm looking at it. I'm like, yo, it was the same thing then. We're not Moors. It doesn't matter what we call ourselves.
That's why Charlie said those who were with me against me. I know who they are.
Oh yeah. Because he was literally there. He was literally there.
No, because it brings in a whole new thing now. Because he only said Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. Now let's think about this. Did he set up this picture that he set up because he knew Moors were going to find this picture?
Right. You see another. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Oh my gosh. What the hell?
And then that's why I be like, sometimes I be even happy that he didn't leave. Like, there's no recordings of him. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have. I don't need a recording. Look.
Yeah. Here's the recording. Yeah.
Here's the recording. You guys just want him to. So what do you want him to say something? We ain't gonna do nothing but clap. That's all we gonna do. It's clap. We get something with the prophet saying something. We ain't gonna. What El said? Stop clapping.
Stop clapping. Somebody else told him stop clapping too. Somebody like modern. I think it was Khalid.
That's all we do.
Clapping.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yo, he came back. That's why he said we honor all true and divine prophets.
Oh wow! Okay, so if he's doing so we do now. What if there's pictures of all the other prophets with a picture like this?
Yo, come on. No. No. They can't do that. They can't do that. That's why I said I said it earlier. We're not looking at this right. There's something big behind this picture, and I know it is.
There's something going on. There's something going on. We could be getting the more complex and overthinking too.
We could be doing that.
Because you know that overthinking complex is crazy. Have you up all night for some stuff that, oh yeah, that's it.
Right. You know, it just when he put it up, once those hairs on my arms went up and those knots came, I said, okay, that's different. That's my body is telling me this is different. Like, look at, like I told my boy, I said, where that stuff come from? Where goosebumps come from? What's that? Where that came from? What energy is that? I haven't done anything. I didn't move. And all of a sudden my hairs and I get bumps all over my body. Where that came from? What is that? What power is that? What power is that? How my hairs on my arms just rise up. When Storm does it in X-Men, we look at her like a mutant. Yeah. But when we do it, we just got goosebumps. Yeah, okay. Soon as I saw it, I said, oh, my hairs just started rising up. About to start flying. Remind me of the Peter Pan movie when he tell you to think happy thoughts and you start flying. The whole thing. As soon as I saw the picture, I was like, yo, this picture is crazy. And you find this in the Yucatan. So-called Yucatan. I can look at this all day.
One of the Moors in the chat said it's like the time capsule from high school. The 1,000 years later, pulling up some picture that is relative to today, but this is from how much ever 1,000 years ago. Like, how is that relative today?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at it. I'm like, yo, because they've done this before with certain other things, but we've never seen it with this.
Yeah.
Like, I know exactly I just can't give an example because I've been thinking about it the whole time. I know exactly what the Moor talking about. That's exactly how I've been thinking. I'm like, yo, but I can't even think of it like I don't know, like a old Buddha sculpture or something like that. Like this is what it's reminding me of.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
like because you can't say, oh, that's a Masonic whatever Freemasonry because the picture on the right predates all of that.
Yeah.
We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
You can't say the Moor is Scottish Rite Masonry. No. The picture on the right predates that.
Oh, and he even has the because the robe makes the
Oh no.
because the robe, he's gonna have the sash on, and then he has the dangling sash right there.
Yep.
I don't think that's her dress. I think that's part of his her dress is there.
Right. The red one on the Moor to the right, that's his.
Yeah.
It matches his thing on his neck.
Yeah, by his neck, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got the same sash as the robe is definitely this. It's the cape.
Yeah.
Once he unties the robe, it's the cape.
That's the cape. Yep. Once he unties the robe, that's the cape.
Come on, man. Yo, this is crazy right here.
Yo, what if the prophets at the soul plane laughing right now?
Yo, holding his stomach.
I'm happy when my Moors are happy, yo.
He's tearing it up right now. Looking at the Moor haters in the back. Like, I told y'all they was good. I told you they was gonna get it. I told you they was gonna get it. I didn't say when. I told you they was gonna get it. Oh yeah, he did. 3rd and 4th generations. Look. You looking at it. Yo, Noble Drew Ali is the man.
Yeah.
And he did it so humble, man. He could have been arrogant about it, crazy. He could have been so arrogant about being the man, and he wasn't. He didn't have to. He already knew. He just knew it. Like, I am. I know I am.
Yeah.
Yo, the 1 foot in, the 1 foot out is that's mind-boggling right there, man.
Yeah. Because we have to keep in mind, because I can hear them already. Well, that means Noble Drew Ali's copying the Indian or whatever. No, don't forget that was a Moorish hat that he has on right there.
Yep.
And Montezuma is a Moorish king. And don't forget, Indian was substituted for Moor.
1621. They found in the vault, Montezuma was called the Moorish king, 1596. 1596. Conquistadors came 1501. For almost 95 years. It was just Moors. It was just Moors. And then the Pope, Catholic Church, changed it. Los Dios.
Oh.
Now y'all calling yourself English terms by saying the Indian. It's Latin, Los Dios.
Stop it, Moor. You know I got you. You know I got you. All day, every day. It's just set up so perfectly that it could only be Allah to set it up.
Right.
It could only be Allah to set it up. It can't be anything else. Nothing else's hands extend this far to have us have this at our fingertips. Indian. An Indian is a term, not a name, a term.
Mm-hmm. Look up term.
Derived from Latin that came from the Vatican, from the Latin word los sin Dios, not los indios, like they like to tell you, take one of the S's off and put everything together. Not that.
Mm-hmm.
Los sin Dios. And then translated to the English word Indian. Anybody that calls themselves Indian on this side, they're calling themselves a Vatican term. It's not even a name. And then if they're part of these tribes and they have Dawes rolls and they have whatever, they're under the Bureau of Indian Affairs.
Yep.
So they're Los Indios. The meaning for the religions of the Vatican was for those who did not believe in the story in the story they push, their God, and have a different way of life to the one they lived and live. It was mostly related to people living in tribes and is a term in international law, as an example, American Indian. That is why for this book, Indian is a term for all people who have lived and living in a tribe not sanctioned and under any laws from countries. Indian. Los Indios. Don't let any of them call you that. As soon as they go there, shut them down, quick, fast.
Yep. So that means, like you bring up the Bureau of Indian Affairs, that goes back to the Vatican. All of that. Tribe goes back to the Vatican. All of that. You can look it up. It tells you. You look up them words, all of it. Roman something. Roman property, Roman politics, all of it goes back to Roman, the Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
But when we show them, we show them this information. They act like they didn't even see it. We'll read this and somebody will write, "We're still not Moors," and it's like, wait a minute, how do we do that? How did you do that?
The question, how? That's all we gotta ask. How? Not gonna ask how anything else, just how. How? There's no way they could explain. Los Indios.
That goes for the West Indian. We broke that down. West Los Indios. Like all of that. That's not a culture. Oh, I'm West Indian. No. No, you're not. That's not a culture. They be quick to try to play that. Oh, I'm West Indian. Yeah, all right.
You're West Los Indios. You're playing West Los Indios. Can't be that.
A Vatican term. It's a Vatican term. That's a fact. That's a fact. And hold on, we love it. This is not what the Grand Sheikh Cujo is saying and Brother Yusuf is saying. We're out of the book, Becoming the Change. Let's free the mind. I can't see the author's title. It's kind of small.
I'm gonna tell you once.
Debate him or her.
Maxime Daigle. Maxime Daigle.
Debate Maxine. They come on here. No scholarship. They'll read a bunch of stuff. See, it says that we were Aztec, we were Mayan, we were Indian. And then when we go look up the word in the dictionary, they don't want that. They don't want you to go look up the word. And then when they look up more, they'll read more the way they want to read more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not what's
it's
there.
It's unbelievable to me.
Not what's there. Their version. Their version of the definition.
Come up with some Google. They'll read you the Google definition. Literally, it'll be the Google dictionary definition of more. They'll read it. They never use any unabridged nothing when it comes to use the term more. They're spending their whole day looking for the word more to fit their paradigm.
Yeah.
When you type in Indian, 9 out of 10 times they're gonna bring you to India. They don't even talk about so-called. They don't even bring you here. You type in Indian, they're over there. I don't even get that. I'm like, yo, they don't even.
9 out of 10 times, you're definitely gonna get over there come up. 9 out of 10 times, over there is gonna come up. And you're still not questioning things. You know, stuck in your ways. So I know what Raleigh said, you're a hard-head, stiff-necked people.
Mm-hmm.
You're hard-headed and you're stiff-necked. You don't want to learn. You love to learn the hard way too much. Why do you love to learn the hard way so much? Why? Why must you learn the hard way all the time?
Yep.
All the time? You want to learn the hard way? Shit.
Won't learn to the point of a sword.
All the time? Please.
Them colonizers get them in their court. You know why? Talking about you don't have no jurisdiction. Oh, wait a minute. now, because you at the point of a sword. You at the point of a sword. Now you sitting there mumbling. You don't have any jurisdiction. What you say? Say that again. Don't mumble it. Don't be mumbling. What you say? Let me see that. You got affidavit. What you talking about? How you know that word?
Yeah, what you know about that word?
What you know about that? Be over there whispering. You whispering. Speak up. Let me hear you. Point of us. That sword pointy, ain't it? Yeah, I know. That's the only time they learn. Point of a sword. Hard, stiff neck. Never wanted their own brother tell them genuinely or tell them. They don't want to hear it. Colonizer put that scimitar to their neck, put they scimitar to their neck. Now they want to, you ain't got no jurisdiction. Oh, yeah. Now you got paperwork, free national name and stuff and all of that. Where you get that from? Where you get that seal from?
What you know about seal?
What you know about seals?
Moorish? What do you mean great seal? What are you talking about?
I thought you was NOI. Which great seal? You NOI.
Oh yeah, so Moore just sent me this one. Let's take a pause for the cause again for these. Just because, you know, Islam to the Moors that study, and you know, they just have information out there and they love sharing. All right. So bear with me. On the thousands of miles of coastline explored, no civilization or substantial wealth had yet been found. The primitive inhabitants, misnamed Indians, right? Because Columbus thought he was near India, had hardly any possessions, and when they were forced by the Spaniards to work as slaves, they died almost at once. There was plenty of good farmland, but the fierce adventurers who swarmed across the Atlantic had no love for farming. What's that? What was that? Oops. Fresh for gold. Oh, fresh from fighting, the Moors in Spain, they were eager for gold and glory, and neither was in sight. During Columbus' last voyage in 1502, he met off the coast of Honduras a canoe, long as a galley, with a thatched cabin, amidships, a 25-man crew, and a cargo that included copper hatchets and bells. The female passengers were not naked like the other Indians.
Hold up. Say that again. Read that sentence again.
The female passengers.
No. The last one.
Okay. During Columbus' last voyage in 1502, he met off the coast of Honduras a canoe, long as a galley, with a thatched cabin amidships, 25-man crew, and a cargo that included copper hatchets and bells.
They had a cabin on the canoe?
On the canoe.
They had a cabin on the canoe. We can't build a cabin in the ground now. No, we can't even build a cabin on the ground. These Moors was building cabins in the canoe.
A cabin on a canoe. Cabin on a canoe.
You can live on the water.
Which was navigators of the seven seas.
That's right.
Navigators of the seven seas. Right now, they said the canoe is long as a galley, right? They said the canoe is long as a galley with a cabin on it. And the 25-man crew. And cargo. You see why they say that you're savage and you're pagan and you're primitive and all that? That's why we say that we're Moors. I told you, misnamed Indians. Misnamed Indians. The female passengers were not naked like other Indians. They wore decent cotton dresses and covered their faces modestly like the Moorish women.
Cotton's an Arabic word.
So if cotton's Arabic and Indians is a misnamed word, and then these women who were supposed to be Indians are wearing clothes like Moorish women, where's the confusion? Why is there confusion? Wow. That's just unfair. Now I didn't get to send you this. I think I said, oh yeah, you got the WhatsApp video?
No. Oh, it's my other. Nope, I didn't get it.
All right, so I'll just play.
Well, I probably got it, but my phone is dead, so I wasn't able to check it.
All right. Okay. I'll just play this one, and then you could give your piece on it. And don't forget, also a brother who had the questions that we read some of them. I'm sure you know what questions you had and all that. Don't forget tonight, MHHS Eyes Wide Open. So some of those questions probably better for you to ask them, since it's relative to things on the site and things in certain books or whatever. So 9:30 Eastern time, the call-in number 319-527-6751, 319-527-6751. Once again, the first call-in number 319-527-6751, and the second number is 425-569-5201. 425-569-5201. And then if you're not able to call in, you can go online at blogtalkradio.com/MHHS-eyes wide open. blogtalkradio.com/MHHS-eyes wide open. All right. So we're just going to share this next one. So that was for Nasaj, Brother Nasaj. That was for you, because I got the email. But the other questions, I think it'll be better for you to ask the mothers. So just call in, press 1, and then you'll be able to ask your questions tonight, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Now the other one that I wanted to put out there is this one.
You're about to hear racist language that exists today in the deeds to a house here in Beverly Hills. Said premises shall not be rented, leased, or conveyed to or occupied by any person other than of the white or Caucasian race. Turns out, Beverly Hills is very far from alone in this. We found the same language in Beverly Hills, North Carolina, where the county register found this in the deeds to his own home.
The land and buildings shall not be leased or sold or conveyed to a Negro or any person of any degree of Negro blood or any person of known bad character. There's no way to read that doesn't make your stomach churn.
Here's one in Washington, D.C., also barring any colored person or Jew. And in Seattle's Broadmoor, any person of the Ethiopian, Malay, or any Asiatic race. In Southgate, California, it's 100% Caucasians only, with one exception.
But if persons not of the Caucasian race be kept thereon by a Caucasian occupant, strictly in the capacity of servants, so perfectly fine for us to be servants and kept in these houses.
Turns out this language is everywhere.
Pretty much every community in the country is going to have racial covenants.
Illegal since 1968, but the language remains in black and white. Could be lurking in the deeds to your home.
I paid very good money for this house, and this has to come along with it. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely, the language should be removed.
These covenants became popular in the 1920s.
So the problem is they can't remove the language because the mortgage is already sold. Hands are empty, but they found racist language in the stuff, but the mortgages are sold. Then you're holding the deed.
It sounds like Christian black codes all over again.
All over again. Why? Because these people choose to have no status. They want to be los Dios. They want to be Negro. They want to be religions. They want to be continents. They want to be everything except themselves. Want to be everything except themselves.
To create strictly white and wealthy neighborhoods. Their impact remains today. Here in Beverly Hills, the black population is still just 1.7%, and many black and brown Americans still feel the economic hit of being denied access to lucrative property ladders. But why hasn't this language at least been removed? Number one, time and money it would take to wade through millions of property records to find defensive language and cut it out. Number two, the law, which states that you can't just cut stuff out of historic legal documents like these. Here in California, State Assemblyman Hector de la Torre tried and failed to pass a bill in 2008, full removal of racist language whenever a house is sold, which...
So now, if racism is bad, and then the people who are given the mortgages have racist language in the thing, and then the guy who works for them went to them and said, take the language out, and they're like, nah, we're not taking anything out. That doesn't tell you something? That really doesn't tell you something. You really think that this is about racist language on some paper? People, the black people in Beverly Hills are 1.7%. Why? Because they're black, not because of anything else. And because these Europeans know that in their mortgage contract, they are signing up for an all-white neighborhood.
But then when you look at it at its end, the modern European are setting themselves up for their own demise, because once all Moors wake up and realize that we're the original free white person,
exactly why I said
status, all those so-called houses that they're showing in Beverly Hills, all you're gonna start seeing is turban and fezzes lined up.
Mm-hmm.
And all those pale by definition, black people, those are black people, the pale people. Those are the true black people. Those are the true black people, them right there. Moors take that, and that reminds me, I was helping my cousin's friend move, and she works, like another one that works in that system with insurance, and she even agreed, like, yeah, you're I think it's either the two middle numbers in your social or the first three numbers in your social, tell them if you're so-called black or a white person. Shows them right in that social. As soon as you give them the social, they know. It's right in there, implemented. And she was, and this is my cousin's friend. I told her, I said, you gonna get that birth certificate? She said, yeah, I'm gonna get it. I said, well, you make sure you check off white for your baby. If you do get it, you check off white. And don't let nobody change nothing. And I said, remember, you fill it out. The doctor don't come in there and fill it out. You fill it out. So you check off white for your baby and reserve your rights.
Mm-hmm.
Reserve your rights. I even thought about it. I said, if I have another baby, I'm gonna name my baby All Rights Reserved Bay. They're gonna be mad at that. They're gonna be mad at that. On the paper, what's your child name? All Rights Reserved Bay. No, you can't sign like that. No, that's the baby's name for real. I don't want to hear that. You can't sign like that. That's his name.
That's what he's gonna be putting. All right.
Yeah, that's not. I said, yeah, I got something for them.
White girl doesn't matter. That's their name. All right.
That's their name. All rights reserved. Boom. I figured it out. I got a trick for them now.
Crazy. Oh yeah, back to this thing.
Leads us to number 3, opposition.
I got a lot of pushback.
They're already illegal. The red tape. It'll cost too much. Then Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger praised the effort, but vetoed the bill. Finally, number 4. Even among those who hate this language, disagreement.
As a historian, I am very opposed to that idea. We need to know where these restrictions were put in place if we're ever going to actually dismantle the system of racism in a logical, consistent way.
We don't need to maintain that language in deeds for us to understand the history of where we've come from.
I liken it to the old signs by the bathrooms in the South. What if they just left them up and said, "Oh, just ignore the sign. You can just, but we'll leave the signs." That's what this is.
Yeah, and what's crazy is if your whole mindset, if you think that you're black, if you think that you're colored, you're not gonna drink from that water fountain. If you think that you're black, you're gonna check off black. It's in your mind. You did this to yourself. Nobody held a gun to your head and told you you better check off black. We doing this. We doing this because the sign was there and you thought you was black. You thought you was colored. That's how they getting away with it. And then, like, I'm listening to, okay, I got a little story real quick. So that the word race, right? Now, I was watching another show when these brothers just coming home or whatever, and he was explaining to his about his so-called inmates that are around him. And these are so-called Bodecan Mexicans or whatever. And he went to explain how there was a so-called black guy and living next to him. So he goes, oh yeah, there was a raza, black guy living next to me. And I said, yo, a raza. And I said, a raza in my head. I said, yo, he did. And I rewinded it. I said, did he just call us raza? And then, now look, from me studying, only reason why I picked up on raza. Now, raza is race. But I know that raza is a Latin term for tainted or not pure. So I knew that that's what he was saying because I studied. And I said, yo, he just called us raza? And then so I wrote to him, wrote in his chat, like, yo, the black guy, raza, and I put the definition. You just called us tainted or not pure. And I said, but the etymology of raza really means a defective piece of cloth. I said, we prefer to be called moreno or morena. And he responded back to me. This dude had like 800,000 followers. Yeah. And he responded back to me, oh, like I understand, peace and love, brother. And I was like, yo, who's this guy? Like, he's responding back like, I'm sorry, like I know about that. Like, cause he, again, another Moorish Latin brother. Yeah. So, but he was really surprised that I knew. Right. Like, how the hell how'd you know that? Like, and I'm like, man, I study, bro. Like, I heard you. I heard you. I was like, and even myself, I was shocked myself. I said, yeah, I just picked up on that. He just called us raza. And I said, yo, he just called us tainted and not pure. Like, yo, that was crazy. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. And I had to check him. And then he was like, apologetic. He understood. Yeah. Like, yeah, I know.
He wasn't like the Indians.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's just race. It doesn't really mean that. No, he didn't do none of that. He knew. Like, yeah, it does mean tainted or distorted. And then French Block Boonera, Frederick Boom Block, in the 17th and 1800s took the tainted, not pure definition of rasa and put it towards phenotype. But the video we're watching, when they talking about race and law, they still talking about tainted, distorted. They're not talking about phenotype. They're not talking about, oh, y'all from over there. They're not talking about that. They're not talking about that. They talking about tainted, distorted, not pure. They still doing inquisitional practices. That's what that paperwork is. That's inquisitional practices. It said it, no black or Jew. That's inquisition.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kicking out of the Moors and the Jews. It's the same thing. It didn't change. Talking about change the paperwork, they got to go talk to the Vatican if they want to change some paperwork like that.
Right. You got to change Indian and everything else.
Right. And then if they do that, Europeans got to go home. Yeah. So they can't change that paperwork.
Europeans chilling right now.
Because that lady you keep showing, she's a Daughters of ISIS member. Yeah. Well, all these people up here you showing, they all know. I'm starting to figure out why they call us the laughing stock.
They're not playing around.
Right.
They are not playing around.
These people know exactly what they're doing. Exactly what they're doing. And we're sitting here, people was watching that video, the regular masses are like, see, it's even racism all over the paper. And no. If you're really looking at it, now you know that your contract is null and void.
Mm-hmm.
You looked at it wrong. You fell for the okie doke. Yep. You're not looking at it like, oh, the contract is canceled then.
Right.
This is a fraudulent contract. That's how you should be looking at it. Oh, the contract is fraudulent.
Contract.
That means
there's no contract. There's
right.
No contract.
You just got a free house. You just got a free house, but you missed it. You missed it. You're playing racism games.
Missed the whole thing. Missed the whole thing playing racism games. And they want to come at Moors. Like Moors aren't doing something. Please. And then people in the chat talking about, well, why not have the seller do this and that? Shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about.
See?
What are you talking about?
The seller. Unalienable.
Talking about sellers. People tripping. What we got up in here? Oh yeah, gotta address this one too. Another one we have to deal with. Okay, so no, it all started. It all started when we put up this picture and said they know how the flags are supposed to be. All these Moors know how the flag's supposed to be. Why? Because we have Noble Drew Ali showing you how the flag's supposed to be. Right? They're gonna show you pictures at the office with Noble Drew Ali saying, well, you know, the flags are like that, so the people from the outside could see it. So that's why the Stars and Stripes is first, and then the Moorish flag is second. No. The last one they tried to pull is they said, look, see, look at all the American flags. Look at all the American flags. So how could you Moors say that Noble Drew Ali didn't respect this flag or whatever? That's still a banner. The Stars and Stripes is still a banner. And these pictures are actually from the second convention in 1929. Noble Drew Ali already got killed. No wonder they're flying all those banners. Noble Drew Ali already got assassinated. No wonder they're flying all those banners. No wonder. Why would they be flying these banners? And look at all those banners. Dude, nobody could put a Moorish flag on the front row. Nobody. Now think about how crazy this is. Think about how crazy this is. Coca-Cola was around during Noble Drew Ali's time. They have the same logo as they had in the 1920s. And when you tell us, well, where do the Moors have nothing or whatever? You don't see Coca-Cola still around? There's no excuse for Moorish Science Temple to not be around still and doing the work that it was doing back then. But why? Sellouts, infiltrators. That's why the whole front row has U.S. banners in 1929 convention with all the sellouts there. Except Noble Drew Ali, because he wasn't a sellout. But all the sellouts were there. Convention picture, September. Noble Drew Ali transition, July. These people are the sellouts.
They ain't waste no time.
Zero time. Look at them. Banners everywhere. Banners? That's what you guys are repping? Banners. You have a national flag, but you got everybody in the front. Let's pull some Moors. Let's pull some Moors to go stand anywhere and let's see which flag they pull up. As soon as they pull out Stars and Stripes, before they pull out Canadian flag, before they pull out the Moorish flag, listen, people sold you out. We are not assuming. This is their documentation. They wanted to show that they're still Moors and they're here. All the sellouts. They even put the date on the picture because they thought they sold out so good that nobody's gonna catch them. And then now here they come today, parading around with Moroccan flag after Stars and Stripes. When Noble Drew Ali had the flag, our flag was not in the right hand. So that people outside could see in the window, and then that's how. So then what are the people on the inside looking at? He's on the inside. Everybody else is on the inside. But the flags are for the people on the outside in the window? Now you listening to these traitors? You're really listening to these traitors.
Yep.
You're listening to these traitors. How? How are you listening to traitors?
And real quick, Grand Sheik, if you look at the other picture again, it's no wonder how they was able to change the sign in 1930.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the Dirty Moors were already selling out.
Been sold out.
2 months after the prophet was gone. Dang.
2 months. They're waving banners.
So it was easy to change the sign. Easy. They were looking to sell out. It wasn't a struggle to change the sign. They were looking for something to sell out about. That's why it was so easy to get 120,000 of them.
Yep. Because a lot of them were sellouts. That's why he said new Moors are going to come with eyes wide open, seeing and knowing. Ujali's the man. Ujali is the man. Before you close out, don't forget MHHS Eyes Wide Open, Blog Talk Radio. Every Tuesday, 7:30 or 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Call the number 319-527-6751. 319-527-6751 or 425-569-5201. 425-569-5201. MHHS Eyes Wide Open on blogtalkradio.com. Islam Moore, you have any close out?
Yeah, Islam. Just one thing real quick. Man, I still can't get over that picture you showed earlier that Setting Rock was able to let us see. I want to give thanks to that Moor for sharing that with us, because that was big time. That made my whole day. That's a whole nother. Yeah. That's like a archaeological find right there. You know, that's what it is. They would not bring to the forefront and let us see.
Well, hold on.
That's something they wanted to bury and hide.
Yeah, they definitely wanted to bury him. Definitely wanted to bury him.
I give thanks to that.
Hold on, before you finish, let me put up the picture again so we could get one more.
Right.
So we get one more of it because it's very telling. It's very telling that Noble Ali was onto something. He was onto something. Yeah, we'll do any closing words with this picture. Any other thoughts came to mind between the last time we looked at it?
Yeah, just this now. I was thinking, I'm like, what did if it wasn't this picture or a picture like this that Noble Drew Ali seen in order for him to do this, what inspired what did he see? What did he see for him to be able to reenact it? What was he thinking to be able to reenact this? You know what I mean? Like, and if he did see this in the so-called Yucatan or Egypt in the South, if he saw it there, like how? You know what I mean? Like how? You know, like how, like just so many. I have so many questions. I know he, like you said earlier. What if the prophet's up there laughing right now? I know he's still laughing.
Yeah,
he's still laughing because you still left us with more questions.
Oh, what this one? What if we found it at the same spot?
Yo, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You see what I mean?
What if this is the thing right here that he got it from? When he went to the Yucatan, when he went Mexico, when he went Cuba, when he went wherever, and he went on some back trip, just like with freaking Keanu in the part 3 when they took him in the middle of the desert to meet dudes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, you found it out
what
there.
If that's the thing? That's the same thing I'm thinking. Like, okay, was it this picture that you saw, or did you go through some ritual when you were down there or something like that? Like, I don't know what you did.
Yeah.
I don't know what you. Like, are you the guy? Like, are you
him really? Return?
Who taught you this? Where were you at when you were taught this?
Too many questions.
Right, because at this time there's no guide or nothing like that. Like this.
No
you know
more.
how you can go on a bus trip or something. And there's a guy on the bus talking about if you look to the right, you would notice that there's none of that at this time. There's none of that.
Oh, this is crazy. Yeah,
we get a guide now for him to break down everything that we're looking at. Like, okay, this is in this year they found this and this and this. Like, he didn't have that. We know that. We know he didn't have that. There wasn't no guide on no bus pointing, oh, this picture here. No.
Yeah, he was.
How did you know?
Or he was with some people, or he went through some ritual, or he saw this same thing, in his time, just like how Seven Riders went somewhere and then saw something. Hey, let me open this or whatever. Open it up, and that's what was there. The same thing happened. I don't know, but it's very.
And like I said, we have our picture of it.
Yeah.
Of the prophet doing it.
Yeah.
And
how about this one? Where's
his breakdown? What we see of him in our time, we have that. We have a breakdown of it. More. Where's what?
Where's the Indian guys one to this? How come nobody
jumping now?
Who's not indigenous and all that stuff? Who's from Africa needs to go back to Africa because we're Moors and Moors are from Morocco and Africa? How come he's using something from this side as an example? And Aboriginal indigenous people can't even show you anything. They can't even show you somebody who they would consider their prophet that came and brought them something. They're just out here playing. But Islam to all the Moors. Give thanks for today.
It
was a great one. Go ahead, Moor.
Because I'm looking at it now too, just now on the platform, you know, to show how Moors were here already. You know, like for him to use that picture, you know what I mean? Like to show us now, like, yeah, you guys were here, and then he's resembling that. Like you said, why isn't he using something from on that side? Why is he using like this whole thing is just got me asking all types of questions, man. I'm just as soon as you put the picture back up, back to getting goosebumps again, all of that. I'm like, yo, see this picture is something. There's something with this.
So yeah, there's something in it. There's something in it, yo. There's something in it. And then it just magnifies Juali's picture even more now.
Right.
Juali's picture is
That's
next
why
level.
I say it's like
it's next level.
Why would he use that one? You know, like why would you use this one? Who? Because again, we have our breaking down of it, and then but who broke this down to the prophet at that time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's just how stuff works. You know, somebody got to tell you something. You know who? That's why I say, you know, like was it you're a descendant of this guy somehow, and somebody in your family?
Oh, wow, I didn't think he was.
Told you to.
That's crazy.
Like, was the show? Because you're the guy. You're Timothy Drew. That's what they like. And then when you go research Drew, it goes back to the oak wood and all of that stuff, the Druids and all of that. And I'm like, and me personally, I don't know anybody last name Drew. I know a Drew who short for Andrew, but I don't know nobody last name Drew. I don't know nobody. I've never met anyone last name Drew.
Nancy was a Drew.
Who's Nancy? Who?
Nancy Drew.
Oh, yep. Yeah, I can look at that picture all day, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Peace and love to all Moors. I'm gonna give you another sample of the documentary to close out.
Oh yeah, Islam great.
Yeah, just remember, you know, go support. Check out the documentary. Let me just get it up for you.
And give thanks to you, Grand Sheik, and your platform.
You already know more.
Give thanks, man.
Give thanks to you. Give thanks to all the Moors out there who's been supporting. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Give thanks for the messages. He's
honors,
the man.
Honors.
Give thanks to the prophet. Praise due to Allah. And honors to all the prophets, known and unknown. And we have to send a super Islam to all the mothers for giving us life, so we could experience this amazing experience. Goosebumps from pictures. Goosebumps from pictures.
Yep. Yep.
Islam boys.
Islam.
And this is another little clip from the I Am Not Black, produced by Brother Lanre Obey. And it's on the 27th Letters podcast. Get on there, subscribe, and check out the documentary, I Am Not Black.
My peers are people in my age group. And the truth is that this information is the most crucial, perhaps not to them, but to their children and their grandchildren. Of course, it would be good if they embrace it for the benefit of their grandchildren and their children, as an added benefit. But I think the key is that those generations get this information and are able to make the decisions for themselves, and are able to analyze it for themselves objectively. The information has been put aside. It's been distracted and by other things. Also, the power of the information. The power of the information lies in different organizations and groups and endeavors that go by other names. So it's like anything that has things, has assets, has power, has economy behind it. If that energy is taken by someone else or by some other entity and given another name, but still really belongs to where it came from, over time people will come to think of that thing as only having what it only has. In reality, Moorish sciences from the 20th century, from Noble Drew Ali, spread and gave birth to the Nation of Islam, to the 5% nation of gods and earths. People say when you talk about going to college or university and taking your initial course, the initial course in a particular line of courses, particular field of study, your first course is your 101. That's Drew Ali. When people talk about the United Nations and the declarations and so on and so forth, the Pan American Conference precedes the United Nations. And Drew Ali came there with a message, even before Selassie. Peace be upon him and all honor. But when Noble Drew Ali established this movement and initiated the revival of our culture and our heritage as it is. He established it for particular generations. He was looking at particular generations, and those generations are only just being born. So in a way, I feel like if those of us, in 2017 AD right now who are involved, it's not that we're involved in something that is necessarily weak. We're involved in something that is actually very strong and going to grow very, very, very strong. But we're early. And it's just a matter of timing. It's not a matter of power or acceptance. It will be accepted. There is no doubt. To me, it's a timing thing. We're early. And so, yes, our peers may not accept it. They may never accept it, but if they live a long life, they will see it. They will see it grow.
Well, fear is a big part and also, miseducation and confusion is part of it. But fear is the biggest part, because people have, to really declare your nationality is to say, you know what, I want to take control. And a lot of people, whether they realize it or not, even if you have a job and whatnot, you rely on the system. And that thought of just even your job alone, or traveling without a quote unquote license, like, these things are kind of daunting for some people. So I understand that, I understand. But with that being said, it's no excuse, because evil prevails, even when good people are quiet and running around mislabeling yourself as quote unquote Negro, black, colored. Misrepresentation, And this is why we quote unquote black people suffer the way they do, especially in North America, even around the world. Look at it. Even when you have quote unquote government that's dark skin or black, look at these other places. It's no better than here. That's run by the European, pale-skinned European. So it is what it is. It's fear. Bottom line is fear.
I don't think it's not exactly that. But I my honest feeling is that that's not exactly a true question for what it represents. I think a lot of people are not as courageous as they would like to admit to be. And a lot of people are compromised. A lot of people are more interested in imagery or people that they're connected with and don't want to admit what they know in their heart to be true. So the embracing has more to do with compromise, denial, and a few lacking information.